Brilliant Savage, and this is the Be Savage podcast. And we are back for another episode of Scrolling on Socials. In this episode, we'll be dealing with MAGAs in Mexico and Latinos for Trump who effed around and found out, and just average Americans who are going through it right now and struggling to make it in this age and era of Trump, President 47. Let's go. Let's get it started.
Y'all going to Mexico wearing MAGA hats as if y'all not gonna get touched by the motherfucking people there, and that's crazy. Bitch, how racist do you have to be and out of touch with society do you have to be to show up in Mexico wearing Make America Great Again motherfucking merch and logos and think you're safe? You think that you're safe being racist in Mexico? First of all, why are you going to Mexico knowing good and goddamn well you don't like Mexican people and you want them to be deported? What the fuck are you doing in Mexico for spring break? Baby, you're gonna get touched. Baby, you're gonna get tapped on the shoulder. Baby, they're getting you the fuck up out of there. Like, immediately. Like, I don't understand. And this is why I say they need to keep the Department of Education, but even if, bitch, you still wouldn't pick up a book and learn something. Because there is no way that you thought you could travel to another country that you don't like and they're not gonna fucking tap your ass on the shoulder.
The Latinos that voted for Trump because of the economy.
Latinos for Trump!
I'm sorry, Andre.
Yo, she's horrible.
How's it going? ¿Cómo les va? Hold on. Like, seriously, have you made more money?
Like so many other Venezuelans, she cheered when Donald Trump was elected.
Sí, yo creo que...
Yes. I believe there is a large community of Venezuelans who did.
What she didn't expect is for those policies to throw her life in limbo. Carol is one of hundreds of thousands of Venezuelan immigrants who were granted temporary protected status, or TPS, under the Biden administration. President Trump wiped that away for all Venezuelans. Were you surprised?
Sí, totalmente.
Yes, totally. Practically the same day he took office, he went against Venezuelans.
Now, it has to be said, and I don't want to sound messed up for having a lack of empathy for people who've done this to themselves, but he literally told you who he was and what he was about with the 34 felony. Bro, there's dudes out here of color like me who can't even find any type of access to anything with a fucking driving violation. You know what I'm saying? That's how crazy it is. And he literally told everyone with his full chest out who he is and who he was at the time. So it's hard for me to find any type of empathy for people who would totally just go against their own self-interest. But again, this is not about me. This is about the people who are experiencing it in the moment. Let's go.
Promise a lot of things. I thought it would be more family values and those programs that we really need here.
We could go back to November. Who would you vote for now, seeing what you see?
Well,
That's crazy. That's crazy. But let's keep going.
when we found out that President Trump was running for president again this term, we immediately went out and bought a flag. Hey, if you didn't get the email on Monday, you're safe. And I'm like skipping down the halls, right? And our friends that didn't vote the same, there's always that back and forth conversation now. It's like, you knew this was coming, but we didn't. Like, nobody that I've talked to understood the devastation that having this administration in office would do to our lives, but other people that we love and care about too within the Mid-Ohio Valley. Absolutely. I feel a little bit betrayed.
My medication, it runs $20,000 a month without insurance. I make $800 a month. Oh, that will kill me. That would kill my friends. That would kill millions of people in this country if they lose their health care.
It bothers me when people like Elon Musk say that people on those programs are the parasite class. It's just cruel.
I have to say this. American citizens who have worked hard and paid into the system are not disposable. American citizens who have worked all their lives and literally paid into this system with the expectation that they're going to have some type of benefit, no matter how meager, have that benefit because they paid into it at the end of their careers or their working journey or whatever you want to call it at their retirement are not disposable. Medicaid and Medicare should be, like every other major industrialized country, a free right. It should not be something that we have to pay into. It should not be something that, is privatized. It should be free. Universal health care is easy when greed is not involved. When the betterment of the people is what is at hand and what is at task and what is respected and honored, free health care is very, very, or close to free health care. Very easy. If you don't believe me, look at China with their 95 to 96 percentile of free health care and people covered in that country. And they have 3 times the amount of people that we do in this country. Make it make sense. Next one.
Este verso es pa' tu abuela y los que llevan tu sangre, agarrados de la mano, chinguen todos a su madre.
Please leave our private event. There is extra space over here.
No estamos.
No, someone owns this private property. ¿Dónde están ustedes? Are here? And
No es.
I have.
This house is free.
No, this is not. Look, if someone owns this property.
Es acceso libre hacia la playa. Es acceso libre hacia la playa. Acceso. Eso no lo estamos tocando. Ese letrero no se está tocando. No se está tocando. Estamos aquí tranquilamente. Estamos aquí tranquilamente. No estamos haciendo ni un alboroto. Libre acceso hacia la playa. No hay ningún letrero en donde diga propiedad privada.
It's not private. Like, why you keep saying? He just told you it's not private. It's open access to everybody.
No hay ningún alambrado, no hay nada. La señora nos está corriendo, nos está diciendo que nos retiremos, nos vino a agredir con huevos. Nos huevió. Y la señora está terca, está tratando de romper nuestra casa de campaña. Nos está corriendo. Hay un menor de edad, no le importó. No nos vamos a ir, señora. Señora, esta es propiedad, este es libre acceso, no nos tenemos por qué ir. No me esté callando, no me esté callando, yo estoy libre, no. Es acceso libre hacia la playa. Es acceso libre hacia...
the absolute. Oh man, that is rich. That is actually kind of insane. The fact that someone like this thinks it's okay to go to another country and treat the people who live there like you treat the people at home in your own country. The beach is not private just because you want it to be. She literally camped out on a public beach in a public area, and then she's claiming that it's a private area, clearly because she's there and she's a Karen. If you don't believe me, notice the distinctive glasses and the pulled back hair and the disheveled look in the clothing here. That clearly indicates Karen, like in the park Karen, and a couple of other Karens. I think it's like a club, right, of people who don't know how to behave in public. But yeah, you don't go to somebody else's home and tell them what to do and think it's okay and you're not going to get pushback, especially when you don't have a bunch of armed military behind you to do it. Not good business, especially when it's just you. Just as they say, when in Rome, do as the Romans. You are in Mexico, do as the locals, dude. Chill out, relax, enjoy the beach, and let everybody else do the same, whether you like it or not. Next one.
The Vancouver International Auto Show has removed Tesla as a participant in this week's event after the automaker was provided multiple opportunities to voluntarily withdraw. The political position on this has absolutely no bearing on the decision. This is purely from a safety point for our guests and our attendees.
I have to rewind this. So this is ooh. What was that? Ooh.
They let her back if you're dead. Here comes the fire department. You're gonna have to.
Damn. So this is in reference to the last clip where the gentleman who was speaking was from I believe from a local car show. I believe it's the Canadian International Car Show. And he was stating basically that Teslas would not be allowed to display at the show because of basically what Elon has done has basically spiraled the stock of not only Tesla, but all his other companies into a downward angle, which is called a downward spiral, because he's a billionaire and he thinks his shit doesn't stink. So he's made it, he's created an enemy of the billionaire who is in charge of the communications down in Latin America, where he lost, I believe it was 25 to 26 contracts, or a contract to handle 25 or 26 different Latin American countries. He lost that deal in one day off of one tweet. That was about $7 billion alone in one day that he lost. Elon Musk is not a good businessman. Elon Musk does not know when to keep his mouth shut and when to keep his fingers off of his own platform. No one calls it X, Elon. They call it Twitter still. And no amount of you trying to name a number of things with an X in it is going to make you. But I digress, because like I said, this is not about me. This is a scary thing because Tesla's stocks have plummeted by 40 to 50% since Trump came into office on January 20th. So, you know, I keep telling people money's not power, but what do I know?
Now, I know goddamn fucking well. I did not just see something that says that Trump wants to bring back segregation. Bitch, I promise you, I will spit in every white person's fountain and I will fucking drink from the black people's fountain. I'm that fucking bitch, okay? I'm the one that you motherfuckers would have had up in a tree because I'm not walking with you fucking racist piece of shits. We're not the same fucking white people you used to know, bitch. Fuck you, Trump.
Hey everybody, hope everybody's having a great Valentine's. I told myself I wasn't gonna get upset this morning, and this is destroying me, like, so bad. Like, I've had this business for 24 years, and I built it up for my son, so one day they wouldn't have to work so hard, and now I'm just letting it go. Oh God. Oh man. Oh God, everybody. This is so messed up to do to somebody. No matter what's going on in your life, don't do this to people. Because it destroys people. I got destroyed. Oh God. Somebody told me let it all out. Like today it's really bad. Like I can't believe that I had to do this again. But that way it'll all be out of my storage, so I won't have to look at it no more because it just rips me up. Like I've had stuff for a very long time from my childhood, and now it's gotta go. Oh man, I was gonna pass that on to my son, Anthony Jr. Bruce, and now I'll never be able to. Appreciate everybody watching, and have a great Valentine's Day. I wish I had my family here.
This is a man, he didn't fuck around and find out. At least not with politics, right? He wasn't Republican or Democrat. I don't know what he is, to be honest, except for the fact that he's a man who's going through a divorce. And divorce is always very, very difficult. I know from experience, especially when you love the person, you are so filled with so many different raw emotions. And the last thing you care about is something as trivial or as important as someone trying to take over the government illegally. Now, I'm not trying to say that that's not important also, but when you're in the position that he's in, and I'm a big advocate for mental health and mental awareness, a divorce fucks with you in ways that you cannot imagine, especially when you're a person who not only has gotten comfortable with the person that you've been with for years, but you're truly in love with that person. You're in love with the life that you created with that person. You're in love with your children, and now you're forced into divorce. It is very, very tragic. And it's funny because my channel is mostly about relationships and less about politics, but political relationships are relationships as well. But dude, my heart goes out to this man because I have been there, and he has a long road ahead of him. It's one thing that to deal with that shit in silence, but once you put it on the internet, it is forever. And I'm not trying to make light of his situation at all. Like I said, I went through it. It was horrendous. I would never wish that, probably even on my own worst enemy, because it is fucking horrible. It's tragic, especially when the person is able to move on quicker than you are. Horrible. But like I said, I wish him well, and I hope he heals, and I hope he has a good journey and experience, has a lot of new great experiences on this new journey, this new chapter of his life. Next one.
China's new gateway to the Americas? And that in Mexico? Wait, what? The mind-blowing story nobody's talking about. China's been quietly investing in Mexico's port of Manzanillo, creating what could become the new Silk Road of the Americas. And 99% of people have no idea this is happening. Here's where it gets wild. While everyone's caught up, China's making a bold move to bypass US-controlled trade routes to the Americas. Ready for this? This new route could cut shipping times by up to 5 days compared to the Panama Canal. What? 5 whole days? Game over, Panama Canal. But wait, there's more. This megaport is Mexico's express lane to Asian markets. We're talking billions in investment, connecting them directly to the world's biggest economies. The plot twist? Mexico's about to unlock a golden opportunity, while the USA's watching their bestie team up with their biggest rival. And hidden in plain view, this massive shift is already reshaping the future. What do you think about this game-changing development? Comments below. Tag someone who needs to see this.
That was the Immaculate Joy Reid.
Mexico just pulled the best gotcha bitch that I've ever seen in my life. So while Donald Trump had everybody riled up about this Panama Canal becoming America's, Mexico was already putting in a new canal. That's right, and China has been funding it secretly. Mexico is building the canal straight through the country. That makes cargo avoid from going all the way around to the Panama Canal. Now, they have a 5-day reduction in shipping time, saving vessels billions of dollars a year and loading up Mexico with a big payday. So it's looking like the president of Mexico is not too concerned about the Gulf of America or the Panama Canal. After all, is she? And thanks to DJ T and his little games that he's been playing, I'm sure we won't be included on any of the decision making or the trade deals that are going to happen behind our back. You can thank Donald J. Trump for that, guys.
I was talking to my co-host about this very topic when Trump went and put down and said that he basically got, I believe it was Vanguard or BlackRock, to purchase 2 ports from the Panama Canal. They didn't buy the entire, Panama Canal. They bought 2 ports, the 2 major ports, but they bought them from China, which made absolutely no sense to me because, China is not a government for freebies, giveaways or anything like that. If they're doing something, it's with a specific purpose in mind. And this was it. This was their trump card. And that is, I mean that pun totally, right? It was their trump card. They basically said, hey, yeah, we'll sell this to you and take a couple of $1 billion from you for these ports. Oh, and by the way, we're building another canal through a country that is closer to the United States border and gives us quicker access to the Pacific Ocean through Mexico, which is one of your biggest trading partners after you tanked NAFTA and then came out with your own version of NAFTA right afterwards, and then basically put your name on it, and now you're in a trade war with them. So yeah, good luck with that. I hope that holds up, Trump, because you have the Panama Canal, but no one's going to use it anymore now that this canal being made in Mexico is going to be a reality. Good one for bringing in more revenue into the country. Next one.
So let me see if I got this right. The people who claim to be all about the freedom of speech, the people who claim to be pro-legal immigration, the people who claim to be anti-tyranny, those same people are cheering for the arrest of a legal immigrant who was exercising his freedom of speech and then was arrested by tyrants. These same people claim that the J6ers were political prisoners. People who directly, physically, violently attacked the United States of America. They claim that they were political prisoners. But the guy who hasn't even been charged with a crime, that guy, he deserves it. Oh, he totally deserves it. Not the J6ers, though. MAGA is good at 2 things: being completely full of shit and completely detached from reality. And neither one of those things makes America great.
The thing I can never understand about MAGA is their ability for mental gymnastics. I mean, literally, every single one of them is competition for Simone Biles if it was about mental gymnastics, because they'd be getting 10.5s every single fucking time. I don't get it. You know what? Just for that, I think our MAGA brothers and sisters out there should get a round of applause for all the fuckery. Thank you. Thank you very much. On to the next one.
You know what I think another big reason is why they mad at Princess Meghan for just making candles and baking bread and having tea parties and brunch parties, making fruit rainbows and crudité platters? It's because the airing of this show also coincides with the 92% letting everybody know we ain't doing shit for y'all. We staying home, we in our soft girl era. We're looking for bottomless brunch while y'all play Katniss, like you obviously wanted to do. And this is a show by a black woman in her soft life teaching us how to live in our soft life. It's reinforcing motivation to stay home and take care of ourselves and have a nice little easy girly pop life instead of laboring for others. It's not just Megan they're mad about. It's the fact that black women in general are deciding, no, you know what? I'm going to give myself a princess treatment. And people are not used to not having access to black women that way. They're crashing out that we're not responding to the rage bait that they keep throwing at us. That's why they're acting like Megan drying citrus is equivalent to capital murder. Because the dried citrus and the freshly baked bread are distracting us from their efforts to get us back into despair, where we belong, right? Because that's exactly how people reacted when we said we're taking a step back. Y'all do it. There's still people in my comments like, oh, how could you just sit there? I mean, this is how fascism happens. And you wouldn't have it if you had listened to us. The rest of y'all handle it, since everybody is suddenly very bold to be able to admit that they don't give a shit about what we say and don't give a shit about what happens to us. They are not used to not having access to black women's bodies and emotional labor like they usually do. Both left wing and right wing. You don't like seeing black women in any other context than labor and perseverance and inspiration for you and trauma corn. That's why your neck is in a twist just watching us do girly pop things. That's why when a black princess dries citrus, it's capital murder. The Daily Mail had a slideshow of shit that Megan does on her show with the intention of the tone being like, oh, look how cringe this is. And it's just homemaking stuff. It's just sun tea. It's just making a fruit platter. It's just drying citrus. Do y'all not realize how racist it presents to trip out over a black woman drying citrus? You are sick and demented and losers. And we're still not coming outside. I baked bread and had mimosas with my husband yesterday. Fuck you.
Oh my God. She's awesome. Black people are so petty. She's petty. That's petty. I mean, she's right, but you know, petty as fuck. She deserves a round of applause for that. Next one.
I tried to find Kamala. She didn't make it.
It's so funny. He's so funny. So funny. No. This video just had me only because I found it very, very sad that people are taking light of the tragedy of what's happening in our government right now. You want to wear the hat, wear the hat. But, you know, degrading someone who is actually highly qualified for the position over someone who was convicted of 34 felonies. It's more of a shame on you than it is on us, because, you know, you supported the person who committed crimes and let like 1,500 like criminals go just because, you know, he has no morals. But, you know, you won, right? Next one. Right? He won, right? Right? They won, right? I just want to be sure, like they won, right? Someone tell me if I'm wrong, because I believe they won, right?
We literally get slapped in the face with no explanation. They fool you a lot. They get in office.
Is
They don't
that
do the
his
things
way
they
of
said they was
saying they got it with no Vaseline? Because that's what it sounds
going to do or promise the people.
Donald Trump and Elon Musk and this fictitious entity Doge, this unlawful entity Doge, has any actual interest in rooting out government waste, fraud, and abuse. They're the only ones committing those things. They are the only ones committing those things.
And Trump just sits there like this. So Trump Elon Musk bought a president. He bought the presidency of the United States, and now he's going to destroy us.
If we knew what we know today and the vote was tomorrow, I don't know what I would do because of my morals. But
morals?
I just
wait.
do it again.
Did she just say? Did this female just say morals? The 34-time convicted felon had more morals than the person who never committed a crime? The person who admitted to SA had better morals than the governor of a state that was progressive? There is absolutely no way. I mean, there is absolutely no way that you can convince me that you voted for a person like Trump for morals. You have no morals if you voted for a person like him. There was another reason why you voted for him, because clearly he's not the one with the better morals. But let's continue in the state that I like to think that many MAGAs live in, called delusion.
My name is James Delaney, Managing Director of Blockworks. My team and I built the Uncensored Library for Reporters Without Borders. Minecraft is an open world game. Part of its gameplay is gathering and crafting items, such as books. Once crafted, books can be written in and shared with other players. When Reporters Without Borders told us about the idea for the Uncensored Library, we got excited about creating a platform to overcome censorship. The library was designed in a neoclassical architectural style that's often used to represent culture and knowledge. But we use this style to design a building that represents the freedom of knowledge and the power that the truth has over oppressive government authorities and regimes.
I have to admit, when I saw this video, I thought it was very, very interesting. Only because in my mind, I kept thinking about the Akashic Records. If you guys don't know what that is, Google it. But it is supposedly a soul library of existence, I guess you could call it. My thought process behind is that it's ephemeral, and it's something supposedly that has existed for all time, that every living being has access to through our mind. What better way to represent a repository of knowledge than a digital library that's actually shaped like a library? So, you know, I kept thinking about the Akashic Records as well as Timbuktu and the library at Alexandria, like these great libraries that no longer exist anymore, but they were like these great repositories of knowledge and information. Anyway, that's been my rant today. My name is Otaku Lucifer, and if you liked what you heard and saw today, please give me a like and a follow, and we will see you next time. Stay safe, stay blessed. Blessings.